pathway to the great abyss.
Look, Brenda. Realism for the camera's eye, the ruins of a great Inca city, uninhabited for 400 years.
Conrad, darling, Hollywood is ever so much more exciting by air. I'm frightfully bored.
Inca ruins uninhabited since the days of the Spanish conquest. A realistic movie, starring Brenda Alexander as High Priestess of the Incas. That was the inspiration that led Conrad Smith, Hollywood director, into the South American wilds of Peru. But their director Smith's camera probed a secret too unnatural to fully record, too horrible ever to believe, as movie queen battled priestess in a super spectacle of antagonism.
For once, a real set for your pretty face, my pet. The film of the year, starring Brenda Alexander as High Priestess of the ancient Temple of Ru.
In a script filled with Hokum and Inca superstition and leering idols, too fantastic ever to believe.
Mighty Ru, master of all nature, hear the voice of Ina, high priestess of your temple.
Listen to that voice. It's weird, musical, strangely beautiful.
Let the strangers be warned of the sacredness of the Temple of Ru.
Sacred temple, my foot. Some explorer has wired the place for sound.
A thundercloud, but not like any I've ever seen before.
Why is everyone acting like a bunch of hicks at a carnival medicine show?
Beware of the wrath of Ru. Conrad, I can't stand on my feet.
It is the warning of Ru. Depart while there is yet time.
An earthquake! We'll be killed!
Real earthquake or not, one thing is sure. The bodiless voice of the temple is the most dramatically beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Conrad, don't ever dream that I'll play a supporting role to some native pin-up girl who haunts an old temple.
Once the sun set, darkness swiftly covered the ancient ruins and covered also the stealthy form of Conrad Smith, Hollywood director with a dangerous taste for cinema realism. I've got to be careful, the acoustics of this old rock pile are so good that a cat's meow would sound like an elephant's trumpet. Twisting the idol's head opens the door. I wonder what the penalty for Inca housebreaking used to be.
Then, once through the portal that had hidden many inscrutable secrets from the outside world for so many centuries. A great idol, mummies, dozens of old stiffs preserved in shrouds. What a setting for the camera. Ina, high priestess of Ru, speaks, once again. The strangers from far away must not disturb the sleep of the honored Inca dead. The voice again like a symphony of larks on a warm spring day.
The stranger does not believe, because he does not know the truth about Ina. For years beyond memory I have sung a song, that the eternal rest of the Inca dead may be peaceful in the misty realm of Ru.
Enchanting, dazzling, priestess Ina, your song should not be for the dead alone. The whole kingdom of heaven and earth should know your beauty.
I wonder if mighty Ru would be angered that you praise my sacred song.
The charms of the High Priestess would turn the thunder of Ru to a gentle murmur. His scowl to a fond smile.
It has been very lonely in the temple for 400 years. And tonight, if your purpose is reverent, would you come to be entertained by my ancestors in the splendid style of forgotten times?
What a sensation for Hollywood. She's worth a fortune.
Return at midnight for a feast that will last until dawn.
The stranger has found favor in my eyes.
I shall come with more pleasure than the priestess knows. With a camera and sound man.
Spoken like a true ham. Conrad Smith.
Why, hello, Brenda, I was on my way to ask you to stroll in the moonlight.
Listen to me. I know what you're up to. You're going to use that vamp instead of me in the picture.
Please, Brenda. Ina might hear.
I suppose you told her she was the most beautiful girl in the world, that you have fallen in love. The same things you told me, before your own selfish ends.
Please, darling. Your voice sounds like a foghorn.
And you once said my voice has the satin tone of a gypsy fiddle. I don't want to die a lonely outcast in the jungle's shadows.
Listen, Brenda. It was all a gag. Just to get some pictures of the inside of the temple. Finally, Smith calmed the stormy waters of the movie star's temper. Hours later, not many minutes before midnight, I found a place in the rear of the temple, where we can get in, Conrad. Shoot me with the priestess and we'll worry about Brenda again when she sleeps off the pills. The boss is going to stall Ina by the door until we get set up. I hate to think what would happen if Brenda wakes up and comes here looking for us. Hollywood is the jeweled city of the world. And there, Ina, you would reign supreme. A queen over queens.
The wrath of Rue is terrible for those who lie to his priestess.
It is a sacred truth. I could make your loveliness an eternal delight among the living.
I'm afraid Ina is far too old ever to leave the Temple of Rue.
Old. Ina. By comparison, our own queens of filmdom are tottering hags.
The stranger says many flattering things. But he must not be unfair to his own queen.
But as Ina stepped outside the temple.
Tonight, as I have promised, there is to be a great feast, and none of the strangers must be excluded. Welcome to the Temple of Rue.
Brenda.
It is not proper that the woman you love should be excluded at the great feast of Rue.
Brenda, for heaven's sake, why are you laughing?
To think that I was jealous of that.
It is true. There is no cause for the movie queen to be jealous.
Sure. That's what I was telling you, Brenda.
Inexplicably, the priestess of the Incas had lost the bloom of youth. But once again on the inside of the Temple of Rue.
You see, I am really 400 years old, and only here. Inside the temple walls, am I young in appearance?
Once again the beautiful voice of the priestess was raised in a melodious incantation to the idol of Rue.
Mighty Rue, who has restored life to the honored dead, rouse their souls to frenzy for, by my moment's weakness, I defiled thee, Rue, and was tempted by a mortal man.
Shedding century. Old shrouds, the temple mummies sprang into terrifying life. The Temple of Rue rang with melody and dreadful revelry.
Those horrible creatures are serving a banquet.
But not for us. This is blood sacrifice. To Rue.
They're appeasing his anger. Smith, help!
It's Joe. He's done for. And we're next.
We can make the door of the temple.
Nobody'd believe this without a camera record.
Rue, Thou god of lightning, thou shaker of earth, they must not escape the justice of the temple.
No! Oh!
Mighty Ru, the men, quick.
If we can make the copter, we'll be safe. Film and all.
Good. The stranger whose sweet words made Ina blaspheme against Ru is dead. And I must return to the temple. Never again to leave.
The high priestess Ina exacted a terrible revenge, yet with consequences which she did not foresee.
Oh. I'm so terribly old. Weak. Just one more step.
But the final step was fatally distant, and Ina crumpled before the temple of her ancestors. A minute later, all that remained was a heap of bones drenched in bright moonlight. And what of Brenda Alexander, once the idol of Hollywood make-believe? For days, she wandered through the wild valleys of the Andes, crazed and delirious. Finally.
Poor thing. Her mind is completely gone.
Idols. Sacrifice of blood. Conrad. Ina.
Hey!
And of the participants of this real-life drama which surpassed ordinary belief, no record remains, except the incredible, partial truth on a bit of film in a rusting camera case, there, in the deep jungle of Peru.